South African politics just pulled off another quiet surprise. In the same landscape where big parties dominate headlines, a smaller force like Groenewald's VF Plus is suddenly attracting attention, reshaping conversations in ways few predicted. Support is shifting, alliances are softening, and voters are proving they're no longer locked into old loyalties. If you want to understand what this moment really means for South Africa's political future, make sure you subscribe right now and watch to the end. Because what looks small today could become decisive tomorrow. Here's the twist most people miss. Politics in South Africa isn't frozen, it's fluid, emotional, and reactive. One week, voters defend tradition. The next, they demand disruption. Groenewald and the VF Plus are benefiting from that tension. Their rise isn't only about ideology, but about mood, a public searching for alternatives in a system that often feels predictable. That mood changes fast, and when it does, power follows. Think about a voter standing in a taxi rank in Pretoria or a cafe in Bloemfontein. Conversations no longer start with loyalty. They start with frustration, curiosity, and comparison. People ask, who is listening, instead of who have I always voted for. That's the environment Groenewald steps into. The VF Plus becomes less a fringe voice and more a signal of political restlessness, spreading quietly across communities. What makes this moment fascinating is how quickly perception can turn into momentum. Yesterday's minor party can become today's bargaining chip. Support doesn't arrive in a straight line, it arrives in waves. One speech, one crisis, one coalition negotiation, and suddenly attention multiplies. South African politics works like weather systems. Pressure builds, clouds gather, and then change rains down unexpectedly. There's also a deeper psychological layer. When voters see dominant parties struggle, they begin scanning the horizon. Groenewald's message gains space not because everyone agrees, but because uncertainty invites experimentation. In fluid systems, stability feels risky and alternatives feel safer than before. That's how political ecosystems evolve, quietly, then suddenly. And here's where things get even more interesting. The rise of VF Plus support isn't isolated. It connects to coalition politics, municipal bargaining, and national recalculations. Every extra percentage point changes negotiations behind closed doors. Parties stop asking, can we ignore them, and start asking, how do we work with them? That shift alone alters the balance of power in ways voters rarely see. If this is already making you rethink how South African politics actually moves, subscribe and keep watching to the end. Many people only notice change after elections, but the real story happens before the ballots are printed. By staying with this video, you'll see how support for Groenewald and the VF Plus reflects something bigger than one party. It reflects a system in motion. Now picture the political map not as solid borders, but as water currents. Some currents slow, others accelerate, and new ones carve paths no analyst predicted. Groenewald's growing relevance is one of those currents. It doesn't replace the river overnight, but it redirects flow, and once flow changes, the entire landscape downstream feels it. South African politics is no longer about fixed camps, it's about shifting ground. Support for the VF Plus confirms that voters are testing options, recalibrating expectations, and quietly rewriting the rules of engagement. Stay subscribed, keep watching to the very end, and you'll be ahead of the story instead of reacting to it after it's already reshaped the country.